Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. How are we doing? How's it going? Happy... What day is it? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Y'all, I am tired as fuck. I'm so fucking tired, but you know, here we are. Hi, Grim. Hi. How are we doing? How's it going? Grim, why is it already so hot in my room? I just like opened the game and then I clicked start stream and I was like, why is it already like 90 degrees in my room? What the fuck? Oh lord. But yeah, no. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good day. First of all, I messed with some of my microphone settings. Like it's cause you're in there. Aww. Elliot seems to disagree. Hi. Heyo. Among Us. You know, my feet hurt. Oh no. Why? Why do your feet hurt? What's going on? But yeah, no, I messed with my microphone settings a little bit. I lowered, or no, I raised the threshold before it like picks up noise. And I may have overcorrected on this. I'm gonna be so for real. Is my voice too loud? It sounds more ASMR-y now. Is that a good thing? No, it sounds good. Okay. I lowered the threshold in which it like accepts volume. Or no, I raised the threshold in which it accepts volume, and I raised the threshold. Like, basically, quieter noises shouldn't be picked up, and louder noises should get picked up, but it should be like equalized to the same point. I think. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I fucked it up. Maybe I didn't. Who knows? But yeah, how are you doing, Al? How's it going? I broke my record of steps today. How many? How many steps? What is your step record? Do I have a step record? Like, I know one day I hit like 42,000 steps walking around Kyoto for a day. I also did that in like boots that chafed my ankles, and that was not fun. 32,000, Jesus. Why? Why are you walking around so much? What? Why would you do that? Because I remember, like, I was going around Kyoto for the day, and like, I think I'd been like, I basically went up and down the mountain like twice, and like, walked. God, we were walking all over the fucking place. Basically, I was walking from like 6 a.m. till like 10 p.m. that night, so just been around the town, just a casual little run, just casual little 32,000 steps. Just real casual, real cas. Just a chill little 32K. Oh my lord, oh my lord. Well, I hope you can take a bath or something. Relax, stretch out your legs, chill out. I think my expander is too much. Better do. Maybe there is a little better. How much is 14? I don't know English numbers well. Or how many steps did I take? I took 42. 42,000 steps. That was literally like I went up and down a mountain like twice that day, and I was just walking from like 6 a.m. until like 10 or 11 p.m. Like, that day was crazy. I don't recommend that. Hi, Gonker. Hi. How you doing? How's it going? You haven't missed much. I am trying to make sure that my audio settings are good. Good. Can you please write that? Numbers? Yeah, Grim got it. What Grim said. That many. Yep. That's the number. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're doing well. I am tired as fuck. I have not been sleeping well recently, and I've been working on the paper that I'm writing, and I just finished the outline plus the abstract of it. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited. That means I have a good idea of like what I actually need to write. Yeah, I have a good idea of what I need to write. Now I kind of know what I need to research and all that fun stuff to like actually write the paper. And the things that I need to understand. So yeah. That's good. But my brain is fried. My brain is really fried. Yeah. Hi, Conquer. Glad you just survived the basement. Yeah, how's the basement, Conquer? Why are you in the basement? Me trying to flex an OC over here with the Olympian Atlas run. Yeah, wait, how many miles? Hold on. I'm curious now. How many miles is 42,000 steps? Can someone look that up? Because I'll be so for real. I have everything like set up for what I'm going to be doing tonight, and I really don't want to touch any of it. I would rather have watched you play World of Warcraft. True. True, it was fun. It was fun. But, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta get that bread, you know? Oh my god, is superhero Overwatch? I know. I know. And actually, have they added the summer skins yet? They totally have, haven't they? Oh, you're gonna love this. Oh, is it in the game? Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh. Yeah, tomorrow they add summer skins to the game. Oh boy. Oh boy. But no, I just wanted to basically. So I'm tired as fuck. So here's my thought for the stream. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna play some Marble Rivals. And why is there two dudes against above my head? There's one person, but he's there twice. That is Bricky. And so basically I was like, alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna be max ADHD mode. I'm gonna play Marvel Rivals, which, if I remember from before, is very hard to like be engaging, like streaming wise, because you kind of have to really focus on the game if you want to win. So I'm gonna play some more Rivals. We're gonna listen to Warhammer lore up there. That up there. Yep. We're also gonna listen to music. And yeah, we're just gonna chill. We're gonna chill. We're gonna have a chill night. Cause I am tired. But no, yeah. We're modeling kitchen at work. Ooh, gotcha. God, I remember we like when I was younger, we renovated our kitchen. And so we were like, okay, so we did all the prep, and we're like, okay, we picked out like the cabinets and then blah, 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 blah. We picked out all the stuff, and they're like, great, we're gonna get started. And so they demoed our kitchen. We're like, okay, great. So like, when are you guys gonna start like installing the new cabinets and like blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, we haven't ordered the cabinets yet. And we were like, huh? And they were like, yeah, we're gonna order the cabinets now and they'll be here in like 3 to 4 months. And we were like, huh? Then why did you demo our kitchen if you don't have the cabinets to build the kitchen? Oh my lord. Didn't wanna see him anymore. Just wanted him gone. Fair enough. I wish we could take 3 to 4 months. We had a week. Oh no. Oh no. But like, for me, that was fucked up because like, they just didn't have the cabinets. So we were like, I guess we're just gonna live at my grandparents' place for 3 to 4 months while we wait for these fucking cabinets. Like, why the fuck did you demo our kitchen if you didn't have the cabinets? Like, you're not gonna do anything for the next 3 months. What the fuck are y'all doing? I don't know. That was weird. That was a weird little time in my life. Be gone. Boom. Got him. No, yeah. So, yeah. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, beat you to it, Grim. I beat ya. No, yeah. But, I vote that Ozzy plays from Roblox with Chad. No, just kidding, unless. Why did I play Roblox? Like, I have so many other games that I want to try and play, like, literally so many. Lord, but yeah, no. She's gonna miss all the sexy aliens. I'm gonna miss all the what? The where? Who? Huh? What? What? Where are the sexy aliens? Huh? It's still a kitchen that feeds a few hundred people a day. Oh my lord. Oh, so it's like a restaurant slash cafeteria kind of kitchen. Oh. Oh. I wish you the best of luck with that job. Yeah, no. Begone bot, that's what she said. Yes. Begone robot. Spam bot. Not bottoms. If I said begone bottoms, I'd have to disappear too. I'd just have to, you know, boop. That's what I have to do. But no, I'm talking about the spam bots. Because Roblox is peak. Oh. Okay. I'm not gonna do it, but okay. Cafeteria work at an old folks home. Oh. I mean, it'll be good when they have a new kitchen. That'll be good. But yeah, no. Alright. Before we get into the matches, I wanted to... Y'all, this is the real reason that I'm playing Marvel Rivals. I'm sorry? Look at her. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my, and then there's this. I'm sorry, hello? She's so fine. She's so fine. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here today. You already know I had to get the battle pass. You already know. Squirrel girl, my wife? No, she's mine. She's my wife, Granny. How dare you? Mom. You'll have to pry her from my cold, dead hands. She has 2 hands. You make a good point. You make a good point. No, you make a very good point. I respect that. You know? There's also... Where is it? Oh, this one? Look at her. This is just a free skin that you can get just by playing the game. And I'm like... Well, I have to get the skin, you know? I have to get it. It's hot as fuck. I'm sorry, what? So yeah. So here we are. And then tomorrow they're putting in summer skins, and I'm like, smash. But yeah. I just wanted to hang out. We're gonna hang out. Yeah, bikini skins. They are wild. They're really interesting. But I'll save it. I'll save it for another time. Yeah, no. I also, what I kind of wanted to do, let me grab something real quick. Hold on. Come over here. What I also want to do is I want to go over here. I don't know. No. I'm gonna go over here. Now I'm in mod mode. I don't want to watch the tutorial. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. Stop it. Over here. Hold on. Oh. Where's the button? Aha. How do I look at... Oh wait, no. Can I do this one? Oh. There we go. We're going back and we're doing... I'm gonna have you guys steal all my channel points. So I am always gonna wager. There we go. Yeah, y'all have 2 minutes every time to wager if I'm gonna win or lose. And I'm gonna put in like 5,000 points. So basically, if you put any amount of points in that I'll lose, and I do lose, you're just gonna take all the points. So, yeah. We're good. Who the fuck is voting gonna win? Okay, you win more points by betting against me. You don't really win anything if you bet for me. That doesn't work. You should just bet against me. No, yeah. Oh my god, the Luna skin? Yeah, it's crazy. Otherwise, have you seen the new character in the trailer for the Marvel movies, Hava? That's a fucking Disney joke. Haven't you got this dick, like... Look and they got him. I think I did better. I think I did it better. too good with Squirrel Girl to vote against. I'm not necessarily playing Squirrel Girl. I'm gonna be filling for my team. And my team might be garbage. But yeah. Alright. Wait, what happens if I lose? Do we just like... Do the points go to no one? Ah? Also, Grim, if you want, you can help with the channel point predictions. No, I didn't get a vote. Grim, by any chance, are you able to restart the prediction? Can you do it for like 5 minutes, actually? I might be able to do that. Hold on.
Pick your hero or villain. I'm not judging.
Dom. Oh, and then also Warhammer lore. Oh, why are you so quiet?
Series on every faction. This video is part 2 in a 2-part series.
How is that?
If you've not seen part 1, you were either snatched by the YouTube
There it
algorithm,
goes.
or you don't let anything, not even common sense, hold you back. And
Yeah,
for
whatever.
that,
This will be a
well,
nice little warm up. So
I
I'm
wish I could be
playing
that
her.
strong. The quest to find the Primarchs
Hold on.
was expansive and treacherous, to the point where they really should
30
write a
seconds
book
before
about
you
it.
attack.
Despite never
Get
seeing
ready.
the Emperor before in their
Hold on.
lives, the Primarchs all
Working on it.
instinctively knew who the Emperor was. Whether it's
I
his
have, like,
psychic
8
connection
things
to
pulled
him
up
or
right
just
now.
plain old intuition, the giant
Why are
golden
you taking
god
so
is a
long to
bit of a
load?
giveaway. The Primarchs all lived
Come
their
on.
own lives, and some lived substantially better lives than others. Rabute Gilliman of the Ultramarines rose through the ranks of his walls and ended up turning an entire sector into a high-functioning society, where others, like
I think-
Voltarian,
Grandma, I
lived
think
on
what
the
you can do
poisonous
is you can just
hellscape
say,
barbarous
like,
under the boot
since
heel
nobody
of his
voted on
beloved
this,
daughter's
just
father.
say
When
that,
the
like,
Emperor arrived, some wanted to play
like, decide the
a little bit
results of the
catch
prediction
with their
and just
dad at
say, like,
first.
win.
And some didn't trust the baseball
and
bat
then just,
he
like,
was
start a new
carrying,
one that's
and
just
some
winner
didn't
lose.
want to play at all.
that should
Eventually,
work.
one by one, the Emperor returned his sons to his side to bring them
maybe?
back
Does that
together
work?
as one happy
on.
family who needed a
not
good
one
leader. Are you tired of pouring over soap? Is your son the foulest being ever? Do your eyes sting when he comes near? Clean that man right back up with the power of Cheeky. That's right, the brand new moisturizing bar soap brought to you by Most Critical and
Video on?
Breaking.
Does video work?
Hates it, but you'll love it. Bar soap is always so sticky and has a ton of fuss, but now you'll be glowing to the surprise of leaving Russ. Cheeky soap is so good, we didn't even take a down payment for the sponsor. That's right, we love this soap so much, we are operating on 100% commission. We are supported purely and only by those of you who buy Cheeky. It is the best bar soap
Oh, Lord.
we have
Oh,
ever
Lord.
used. That is not
Monty on my
hyperbole.
phone
Your
sucks.
satisfaction
There.
is guaranteed.
There.
Take it from the man
Ah.
himself.
It's very good.
Enjoy a multitude of flavors,
Does the-
including lo-fi lavender,
Wait, does the video work? I can't see it
just
anymore.
soap, touch
I
grass,
do.
and absolute
That,
cinnamon.
maybe? Oh, it does
Cheeky
work.
alone has made me swap back to bar soap
Double
as my
move.
primary
So
choice.
let's go. Let's go.
Go ahead and go to ushigi.com/radio. Code word for 10% off your US and support these videos. That's code word at ushigi.com/radio. Click the link in the description to learn more. Get clean now. Oh, yeah, so half his sons turned on him. After the Emperor was able to bring all of his sons back into the fold, he sent them on their way with his end goal
I linked you the wrong video.
reclaiming the lost world of humanity. Each of his primarchs fanned out across the galaxy to accomplish this goal. But the one they were expected to report
Are you figuring it out,
was
Grim?
his favored son. And
Thank
the
you,
first
Grim.
one found, a legend,
you.
which was Horus. Horus was
Wait,
granted
how
the
do I
title
put
of
my
War
points in?
Master, and
Oh,
he
shit.
certainly lived
Did
up
you set
to
it for
Biggie's
5 minutes or
expectations,
2
which
minutes?
were very specific and set by Biggie himself to
Double.
all his sons. However, either intentionally or not, the Emperor did not mention to his sons some of the more chaotic aspects of the Guilds. Horus himself, while living across the terrain of the more advanced world, was informed of the existence of chaos gods, a factoid that Horus initially didn't believe POV. To him, it was a bit unfathomable to think that his father would admit such significant information on the inner workings of the galaxy. However, he soon realized this was the truth, and this betrayal was unacceptable. With the astronomical weight put on his shoulders and his father immediately leaving it all in his hands, combined with the slow corruption of his mind by those closest to him, he began to change his tune. Horus began amassing a following behind his father's back with several other Primarchs and began to formulate plans to
so terrified because I'm so distracted
While this was
right now.
occurring, Magnus the Red tried to FaceTime his dad back on Terra, and that resulted in the shattering of the protective barrier between Terra and the demons of the warp. Due to this damage, the Emperor was forced to sit on the Golden Throne to ensure that it would continue to function. Ultimately, half of the Primarchs would fall to chaos, and the remaining half would fight back viciously against their brothers. Horus eventually gained the upper hand and arrived in Warhammer. And after antagonizing his father enough, the Emperor temporarily removed himself from the throne, strategically putting his old friend there as a seat warmer, and went to confront Horus himself on the dead spirit of his flagship. The Emperor faced down his son after a heated battle and 64 novels. The Emperor managed to obliterate Horus on a subatomic level, but not before his favorite son was able to mortally wound the
After
Emperor.
this game,
As
the
the
fact
dust
that in the
settled and the
Discord.
traitors fled from Terra, the Emperor's body was dragged back onto the Golden Throne, where it sits permanently
Also
to
for next
ensure
round,
that
the
it
game audio
continues
is
to
louder in the
function.
video.
A corpse
Hold on.
forced to constantly
Gotta
hold
get this
back
right
the
now.
horrors of
Hold
the
on.
warp and guide humanity with his pale light. And that
now.
light is flickering.
Better?
From there, the remaining members of the traitors to the Emperor
figuring it out. We're
fled to
figuring it
their
out.
respective safe havens.
We're getting there. We're getting
These
there.
are the veterans of the Long War, the spiteful, and to them, the
How are we doing?
wronged. Those who would let the galaxy burn if it means the Imperium gets caught in the flames. These are the
Chaos. Why is chaos so much louder?
And what are the achievements of your fragile
Oh my
Imperium?
lord.
It is a corpse
Storm is setting
rotting
on
slowly from
trail.
within while
Wow.
maggots writhe in its belly. It was built with the toil of heroes and giants, and now it is inhabited by frightened weaklings to whom the glories of those times are half forgotten legends. I have forgotten nothing, and my wisdom has expanded far beyond mere mortal frailties. The Horus Heresy saw the collapse of the Imperium as we knew it at the time,
didn't
and
work.
half of the Space Marine legions fell to the ruinous powers. Though the favored son, War Master Horus, was killed and the rebellion ended, the heretical forces retreated to the warp and remain a constant threat to this day. The twisted reminder of what the temptations of the warp may bring, the Chaos Space Marines act
you be
as a
DPS
mirror
instead of
to
a healing, 'cause
the
you're not
royal
healing
legions.
shit.
And as time progresses, their
You ain't
will take
having-
further
You
changes
got-
to suit
running
the
at Jeff,
needs
and
of their
Jeff still ain't
patron
healing.
deity.
Get
Though
off the
marred
fucking
and
hill. Go
absolutely
to
mangled
DPS.
by the
You should
ruins,
be avoiding
they
That's
are
not good.
still
Get off the fucking hill.
unmistakable
Okay,
space
no.
DP, I mean,
stature
no,
and
no.
shape,
Right.
and according to
Go
them,
DPS.
they have
I'm not
never
gonna
been
do that.
more
We just-
free.
Go
After
Get
the
off.
heresy, the loyal
Hello?
legions of Space Marines became very strict in their organization, and their separation into separate chapters with capped numbers and other
No.
formalities was
What?
done to prevent any form of heresy from happening again. The Chaos Space Marines are a bit different. Ultimately, these Marines are subject to the primary legions that fell to chaos in the first place. The majority of these legions, the Black Legion, the Word Bearers, Iron
He's
Warriors,
so
Alpha
scared.
Legion,
He
and
sounds so
the
tired
Night
of life.
Lords, are
True.
supporters of chaos undivided, either enjoying the powers of all chaos gods or sometimes shunning them altogether. But a few of them follow a very specific chaos god. Thousand Sons are followers of Zeech, the Death Guard follows Nurgle, Slanesh has their claws in the Emperor's children, and the World Eaters are avid followers of Khorne. From there, the legions themselves are separated into roaming war bands that may go under their own unique names or may stake a claim to one of their primary legions. Most of the gear and armor of a Chaos Space Marine remains the same, but stylistically it changes quite a bit to reflect the intention of the legion or their patron god. The Death Guard's armor has become rotten and full of gaping mouths and plague-filled
Who uses
voids.
in-game
The
voice chat?
World Eaters' sharp
know.
and violent armor reflects their thirst, and
People are
the
cringe,
chaotic noise
and I
of
don't
the
trust them.
children armor, nipple rings included, pleases Slanesh greatly. Due to the taint of chaos, the armor itself becomes less about plating and more about a new skin for any given Chaos Space Marine. Though the Chaos Space Marines have no true fear of death or numbers diminishing, there are still major recruitment efforts for the legions. However, the conscription of these recruits is a lot more chaos-fueled and is more of a forced assimilation, and in some instances, breeding. The organ implementations and other modifications are the same, and the necessity of a gene seed remains the same, but the result is a hell of a lot different. Understanding Chaos Space Marines is a difficult exercise. If we took my original video 5 years back and looked at the Imperial Knight section, it mainly focuses on big stomping robots. Now that I understand more, I can discuss the Cavalry, throw Mechanicum, Squires, and Monarchs, and bring some more context to it all. To assume Chaos Space Marines are simply the opposite side Space Marines would be foolish. For once you understand the plight of their Primarch, you can provide a
it's gonna be so rich.
Horus himself turned through an overwhelming weight on his shoulders and lies told by his father. What of Angron? Angron lived as a slave gladiator for his lance masters, who took Dark Age technology and shoved it into his brain, so experiencing any emotion other than rage was agony for him. He finally leads a revolt for his fellow gladiators and frees himself from the confines of servitude. The Emperor finds him and says he will take him home, but Angron refuses.
I have no
he
idea.
will fight with his friends against the tyranny of his slave owners to the last. At the final last stand with him and his closest friends, slave gladiators, all of them outnumbered and on the verge of death, the Emperor forcefully teleports Angron to his flagship and none of his compatriots, leaving Angron to live and watch all of his friends die. You kept that mule Corferon. Russ kept his kin friends. The Lion kept humans, brothers, and foster fathers, saved and raised into Legion ranks. But not me, not Angron, no. Did the Emperor teleport his gold-wrapped custodians down to help me in my army? No. Did he free the Warhounds and order them to battle, fight alongside me? No. Did he save my brothers and sisters the way he spared and honored the Lion's kin? The way he honored Corferon? No, no, and no. No mercy for Angron, Angron the Oathbreaker, Angron the Betrayer.
I'm breaking it? Oh no. Oh no. Can I do swap videos? Yeah, I'm on it. I'm on it. Hello? Where am I? Where's my slash break? Why is it no longer my quick actions? What? Oh. Not over here. Oh. Mom. Oh no. Oh no. Elliot, are you saving up to make me play the entirety of Ender Lilies? Is that what you're doing? I'll see right now. Panic. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it now. We're good. I think we're all good now. So that should be going. And then I think I can... Grim, if you want to participate, like, I can use my main account to choose the winner. I think I can. Maybe? I don't know. We'll figure it out. So feel free to participate if you want. Swap videos. Gosh, so on my fuck. This one? Nope, not gonna open it like that. Copy. I'm gonna do bump. I'm gonna do bump. And bump.
Hey all, this is part 2 in a
Oh, it's another hour-long video. Bum and bum. Is that up now? Cool. There we go. Do bump. I'm gonna turn this down a little so I can hear myself think. We're gonna do. I'm like Eddie Brock pleading to God to kill Peter Parker right now. Eddie Brock? What does he? Oh no. I'm gambling. Have fun. Alright. Mom and mom. We're gonna do.
Part series on the Warhammer races. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, we do the Imperium of Man. We put that in the description, and I highly recommend you watch that to see the context for this episode. If you already have,
I
go
think
ahead
the
and
older ones are funnier. The re-explained is more
so after an
serious.
entire episode of nothing but humans,
Good to know.
we
Good
can
to
now
know.
talk about chaos,
Alright.
which involves humans
We're chilling.
again.
We're chilling
A
now.
little bit less. We also
I think we
got
got
demons
it all
and shit.
taken care of. We're all chilling.
What?
Like hard, Nick.
Huh?
So, as I've mentioned many times before, we've discussed the warp, the
What did I
immaterium,
pick?
the hellish landscape,
What is that?
the purgatory dimension realm between the material realm
did
of
I
our
pick
existence. Now, in the warp, it's terrifying, horrible. There are demons everywhere. Things are crazy. All your minds,
Yeah, I
thoughts,
know.
and emotions get projected there. It is both
Do I flex on
formless
him?
and empty. It is vast and tiny. It obeys the laws of time and physics while simultaneously does absolutely nothing of the sort.
I
It is
made them
a
so
hodgepodge and
No,
culmination of
no.
just unknowable, eldritch, horrifying shit.
Eddie
And there are
Brock is a
4
villain in
gods
Superman. I know who
that
Eddie Brock
permeate
is.
in chaos and the warp. These are the
My
4
brain is
major
still
chaos
overstimmed
gods.
right now.
And if we wish
I
to
know
learn
about
about chaos, we need
I
to
know about
learn
Eddie
about
Brock.
each and every
I
single one
watched
of
the
these
Spider-Man
chaos
cartoons.
gods.
I
First
know.
up, we have
I
Korn,
know
and
the
he
lore.
is the easiest. Korn is your
I know Eddie
classic
Brock is
saint.
Venom.
He is all about
Venom.
anger, murder, fighting, blood, guts, death. You ever heard
Oh, yeah,
the term,
guys.
blood for the
Look
blood
at what you
god,
wrote. I can
skull for
combo
the
it.
skull throne? That's Korn. The whole idea is that he is all about the fury and strength of battle. He doesn't care where blood comes from, so long as blood is flowing. He wants to fight and murder and carnage and slaughter and death, 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 death. That is Korn. Very simple to understand. Next up, you have
Korn
Zeech,
wants to
and
kill
Zeech
everything.
is the
Got it.
god of change.
Got it.
However,
I
the
understand.
god of change, it's permeates in so many different other ways. He's the most eldritch of all the demon gods. He has this weird way to always be plucking at the strings of the universe. He's always conniving, scheming, and doing his best to cause as much little bullshit as he can. Zeech is unknowable. Everything that makes sense, he will and won't do. Every future and setting and every type of destiny or fate is all foretold and also changeable. It is set in stone while also completely random. He knows what everything is going to happen and also that none of it's going to happen. You would ask Zeech a question. That question leads to 3 more questions. And those questions lead to the heat death of the universe, which asks 4 answers to those questions. And then he thinks to himself, what are questions even really? And are you even asking the questions? Or are you simply giving paths to answers and other horse shit? Zeech is just, I'm gonna fuck with stuff. He is yes and he is no. He is the understanding and he is complexity. He is unknowable. And that's what the God of Change is about. Very bizarre. And he likes birds a lot. I don't know why. Next up, we got Papa
Rocket is
Nurgle.
so weak.
Papa Nurgle, he loves you for who you are.
Papa
Probably
Nurgle.
not. He will murder you just the same. But Papa Nurgle is about rot, pestilence, death, and decay. He is the end of everything. Him and Zeech do not like each other very much because where Zeech represents change and adjustment, Nurgle represents stagnation and death. He is all about miasma, pestilence, and large bloat and pus and organs and people just being sedentary, sloth. He is the idea that everything will rot and decay and die.
Oh, no.
Nothing is certain besides decay and death. All of us will end up the same
going
way.
so terribly.
Broken
Oh, no.
down through just sheer,
poor
never-ending
teammates.
decomposition. So the joke that Nurgle always loves you is generally because of that, because we all end up the same. We all rot, and we all
die and wither. That's Nurgle, and he's got a general theme of course, pestilence and different kinds of diseases and sickness and things of that nature. That's generally Nurgle. He's pretty easy to understand as well, and he talks. Finally, we have the youngest of the Chaos Gods, and that is Slaanesh, also known as the Prince of Pleasure or the God of Unspeakable Excess. Slaanesh is generally referred to with sex, but it's not only sex, it's just that's a good avenue if you want to make stuff. Slaanesh is just the idea of the senses of the body being cranked to not just 11, but more like 17. See, we'll discuss Slaanesh a little bit more. We'll talk about the Eldar because they done fucked up, but
Thought I turned them off.
it, or whatever, is mainly about just the excess of emotion. And therefore, sex is generally a large part of it. However, it's mostly torture. Lots of pain torture, but sometimes sexually related or drugs related. Lots of drugs. Lots of drugs. Slaanesh gets off on everything. Extremes in happiness, extremes in sadness, extremes in pain and sadism and masochism. And of course, that goes along with the sex part of it as well. It's generally referred to with sex because of the color scheme, very purple, lots of exposed genitalia. A lot of their models have like exposed nipples and stuff. And that is generally the theme you go for from a physical side, but it really embodies everything. Mainly pain and also the excessive amounts of emotion. So when it comes down to it, you'll find a lot of them have things like spikes or whips or any kind of BDSM style gear because it is unspeakable excess. The Prince of Pleasure. Everything in excess to the point where it is just sheer frightening. That is Slaanesh in a nutshell. A little bit bizarre and a little hard to describe sometimes. But as we talk more about the Dark Eldar layer in this video, you'll understand it far, far better and far more than you'd want to. Now, you might be thinking, why would anyone ever want to join Chaos? They all look horrifying,
I did the same, Conquer. I put it in.
Things, right? Well, the thing is that, of course, one, your mind is put into
Don't let your
the
dreams
warp and
be-
the
why does
materium, so you can be easily swayed by chaos demons when they get into your head, especially if you're a psyker. Sometimes regiments of the less mentally strong people, whether they be civilians or, say, low-level guardsmen or conscripts, can be easily swayed by this and become chaos cultists and stuff, and they serve
That's
their
not
dark
free
gods
bomb
or whatever
surgery.
god they
Why not?
personally refer. However, and this might
I'm
be
sure
strange,
Squirrel could be
chaos
very
in their
gentle
own
and
right
very precise if she
isn't
wanted to.
necessarily
You know?
evil. See, the
You know?
warp is every manifestation of emotion and
I'm sure it'll be
being, every
fine.
soul,
It'll be fine.
everything of
It'll be
existence.
all
This
good.
includes all the good things. All the different chaos gods have another side to their coin. Khorne might be death, murder, slaughter, slaughter, but he's also got this weird sense of survival of the fittest, trial by combat, and honor. Khorne will never lie to you. Khorne will never stab you in the back. Khorne isn't about conniving and scheming. Khorne is about straight up mono, you versus me, get in the ring, we're gonna murder each other hard right now. It may not be a good thing at the end of the day, but it is that other side of the coin. Him and Zeech generally don't get along because Zeech is that conniving schemer, but he's also about the idea of hope. Where there is change for your predicament. There is change for your problem. The hope of the galaxy, the ability to bend the world to your will, the idea that your fate is not set in stone, but the reality that you control your own destiny and can control whatever you want, the changer of ways. That is Zeech. And of course, Zeech and Nurgle hate each other because while Nurgle does represent stagnation, death, and decay, he also represents finality. An ending. The fact that you can be mentally at peace, knowing that you will end and how you will end. Fear of the unknown, fear of change is not present with Nurgle. With Nurgle, everything will rot and die, and that provides that finality, that ability that this is over. We are all the same, and we will all end the same. We know the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to live and die and rot. And with that, it brings peace of mind. Slaanesh is a lot more simple. While they are the excess of emotion, they are also the representation of emotion. Slaanesh embodies happiness. Slaanesh embodies excitement, joy, and pleasure. Not only in the sense of the physical, bam, style of pleasure, but also everything else like food and drink and air on your cheeks and sunlight, the feeling, emotion and feeling. All of that is also represented with Slaanesh. So you have to ask, why are they always
Don't
represented
worry,
as super
they won't
evil
my ass.
skulls and spikes
But you
on
know,
everything and want
it's
to murder
fair.
everybody?
That ass is hot.
I don't really got an answer for you on that one. My assumption is that because
Talking to my mama.
mentally humans may think worse thoughts, even if we don't act on them, and therefore they're projected in the warp more. That one's a little bit weird. I don't know. This is me spitballing right now, but I don't know. You need a super bad guy. You already got the Imperium of Man. You need somebody to be a little bit worse than them. So you got demons.
Hello?
Honestly, who
Hello?
cares?
Why
I
did
just
you
wanna
just
buy like a
instantly
bird
figure
magician.
something?
Look at
What
him.
the fuck?
So cool. So combining all this together on the tabletop, Chaos Demons are generally very melee-based. They run in, go really hard. You have lots of summoning and conjuring, tons of spells. Generally a little bit frail, but they have special saves to make them a little bit stronger. You've got giant demons and smaller demons. You got hordes of little boys and tons of big guys. Demons are, as they say, demons. Nurgle is slow. Khorne is super
Should I
scary
be a
in
team
melee.
player?
You've got Zeech, who are far more into psychers and spellcasting, and then Slanesh, who is all melee, really fast but squishy, but in lots of hordes of tons of melee and pain damage, of course. So overall, the demons are a huge part of 40k and a massive threat to almost every single faction, with the exception of a couple. However, the big part about demons is also transferred into the other 9 Primarchs we talked about, which are the Chaos Space Marines.
Oh, that's not good. Maybe I should change. Yeah, I should.
So Horus and all of his boys, all of them are the Primarchs, they have all also become Chaos Boys, and they all have their own special Chaos Legions, specializing in so many different things, just like the Adeptus Astartes, the Angels of Death.
I like
the regular
shotguns.
Chaos Space Marines aren't a whole lot different than the regular Space Marines. They have the same armor, generally the same training and toughness. They just specialize in different kinds of things. And also a lot of the Primarchs have ascended into greater demons? They're demon Primarchs. Just gigantic, horrifying man-demon hybrids that are pretty awesome, if I'm going to be honest. They look really cool. But them and their associated legions they are a part of are all kind of going out there and causing a large ruckus for everyone else. Considering the raw strength and firepower of a legion of Space Marines, imagine that entire legion just converting to chaos and immediately fighting you. It's generally pretty horrible. There's a lot of them, so I gotta write them down. But you've got the Emperor's Children with Primarch Fulgrim, these people, they are so messed up people. They're just sensory overload, tons of drugs, tons of torture. And I think Fulgrim is a demon Primarch right now. And oh god, I am terrified to see what that man looks like. At least on the tabletop, because Emperor's Children are not good people. You've got the Iron Warriors, which are kind of like opposite of the Imperial Fists, with Primarch Perturabo, I believe is his name.
Elliot's
Their
gonna
chaos
be
like
rich
divided
after
as kind of serve chaos
this.
in a general aspect instead of choosing one of the 4. But the Iron Warriors are big on the siege and fortification, and they're basically entirely against the Imperial Fists and a major rival. Perturabo, I believe, is also still alive, and I'm also very interested to see what he looks like.
Choose outcome
Demon Primarch's
prediction.
badass. You've got the Night Lords with Primarch Conrad Kurz. Conrad Kurz is dead, which is good because he's a sick fuck. But the Night Lords are generally about terrorizing people and terrorism. They're generally about fear, and rightly so. You've got the World Eaters with Primarch Angron, still alive, also excited to see. Angron, if you think you've known an angry person, Angron is the angriest son of a bitch you will ever know. Angron removed parts of his brain that didn't make him angry, so he could be angrier. Angron. Fucker's mad. You've got the Death Guard with Primarch Mortarion. They actually have their own special codex and their own major army on the tabletop. Mortarion himself is actually one of the models. And look at him. Look at him. It's so cool looking. Of course, Nurgle based, obviously. So very slow, but very tanky. You've got the Word Bearers with Primarch Lorgar. Lorgar is, I believe, still alive. I don't know what's up with him at the current moment, but the Word Bearers are generally the people who caused all the major problems in the beginning. At least I blame them for it. They're little assholes. You got the Black Legion with Primarch Horus.
Yeah.
Get fucked, nerd. You've got the Alpha Legion with Primarch Alfarius Omegon. Chaos, I think. And then finally, you've got the Thousand Sons with Primarch Magnus the Nerd. Thousand Sons also have their own book, just the Death Guard.
There it
Magnus
goes.
is also a tabletop model. He looks super cool, as you can tell, and they're all super heavily
Betrayal
psyker and
never
kind of
comes from an
addictive
enemy.
theme.
That's
They
why I
look
would
pretty neat.
never betray
But
you.
overall, with all of these Chaos
Didn't
Space
vote
Marine
against me.
factions, you can play as a lot of different ones, but the main ones that you can really work at are standard Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, as well as the Death Guard and Thousand Suns, as they are the most fleshed out, especially on the tabletop at least. See this
Over
right here?
here.
This is a really good way to describe the Chaos Space Marines. What the thick-headed fools with their broken
Hold on.
corpse of an emperor
Am I
fail to
gonna-
understand is that not only can they never defeat us,
I don't
but
care
they
about the
cannot hide or
drops.
flee or shield themselves from the triumph of chaos.
No.
They are finite and we are unbound, undivided. They must not err, or they shall fall to heresy. All who fall join our cause. Every imperial fool who dares to open his eyes
The
is
wager.
a willing
The wager has been
recruit.
set.
They strive merely to hold back our fury and might, and it consumes them. Thus, you can see chaos is inevitable. We lurk not only beyond their grasp and at their gates, we lurk within the darkness of their souls, on the tip of their tongues, in their tortured dreams. We are them, but freed from the shackles of ignorance. We are them, grown strong, evolved.
Explaining complex topics can be challenging. Highlight the text you want to simplify and let Grammarly
Don't
be
care,
guided.
Grammarly. I don't care.
Grammarly makes your message clear.
Shut up.
We are them, but so much more. As hardcore as that quote is, the saddest part is they're
Spicy
mostly right.
video?
Chaos is
Huh?
basically unkillable. You could probably get rid of Space
Oh, I
Marines
guess
a
I'm gonna
decent
do-
amount, the Chaos Space Marines that is,
I'll
but
do-
every soul that
I'll do the
dies
direction,
goes
man.
to the warp. Every Chaos soul will end up back in the warp. And depending on how hard you killed them, they will come back at some point. Every demon you
Anyways,
banish will return
hope you all are
at
doing
some
well.
point. Chaos is unstoppable. The
Could be
war
so
is
for real.
unending. And while
I already
maybe there is
knew
at
that,
some
like,
point some way
trying to play
stop
Marvel
them
Rivals
somehow,
or,
the resources to do so,
like,
the requirements to do so are so far beyond the
basically,
reaches of
trying to
man
stream
and the
Marvel
other
Rivals,
races
it's
at current
really
moment
hard to, like,
that really it's just an
actually,
unstoppable
like,
force that just keeps
engage
on
with
coming
chat and stuff
is
like that.
barely being slow.
Chaos
is by far the biggest
It's one
threat.
of those
They
games
are
that, like, kind of
without number,
requires you
their
to, like,
legions are
look at the
everywhere,
screen and be like,
yeah, they're pretty scary.
what's going on?
So I promise, we're done with humans now.
and so
Let's
I
talk
was just
about
like,
some Xenos.
how can I just make this like a max ADHD?
So let's talk
and just,
about
like,
the Eldar, or also known as the Eldari, which are a
just like
super
give you all other stuff,
hyper-specialized
other
and
stuff to look
very
at, stuff to listen to
technologically
when I'm not
advanced
talking.
Well, elf people. They were as well responsible for the creation of Slanesh, the
Slanesh.
seaman god.
Oh,
They do
hold
that. Debauchery
Got him.
on a world-ending scale. See, back in the day, it was just Khorne, Zeech, and Nurgle. And the Eldar are very, very ancient, millions of years. These Eldar, however, have a bit of a sensory problem. You know, every kind of pain or feeling that you have is a little bit amplified compared to the normal. However, with Eldar, as their race advanced so excessively, they became so self-reliant, and everything became so easy. There was no requirements for production anymore, there were no shortages. Everything was basically done. Everyone was so comfortable. And that comfort breeded this weird sedation. And that sedation breeded the requirement for more and more debauchery. When everything you have can be so easily acquired, you will end up down this road of pure debauchery. All of the senses the Eldar had that were so powerful, things like feeling, happiness, sadness, and just evil and good, all need to be
That's why
satisfied
really the
and
first thing that comes to
satiated.
mind.
And the desire to satiate these
Good,
senses
good.
grew more
Not
and
that-
more
not that
with
pretty little
worse and
things.
worse debauchery. It started off with things like sex and drugs becoming so much more rampant because these are the first things you generally turn to when requirements for living are so easily accessible. It would get to the point that
This is
made Sandra
genuinely
Cohen in Bioshock
being in a
look
state like
sane.
this is how
Alright,
I'm
this is
most
the kind
productive,
of
like at
debauchery
work.
it led
I just like
to. It was
overload all the
constantly
background bots,
satisfying and
and I just have like pure
satiating
focus. I'm just
and
like,
sadistic or
locked
masochistic
in.
fantasies that only elevated and elevated, and this was species wide. People started going down darker, more depraved, and more violent paths as time went on. However, some people didn't entirely take to that. Some of the Eldar were looking at this depraved species that they had become and said, no thanks for me, dog, I'm good. And they bailed. These are the Craft World Eldar. They left on these giant continent-sized starships called Craft Worlds. They believe in learning the old ways of the Eldar and pushing away from this depravity and debauchery and going back to their main roots. And so they would segment themselves on these giant craft worlds far in the outer reaches of space. They even had this thing called the Webway. Remember what we mentioned about warp travel with the Imperium? Well, the Eldar had something way safer called a Webway. And the Eldar Webway is actually like a pocket dimension kind of thing. And in that pocket dimension, there were also more horrible, depraved groups and clans that would spend their time in there. And if you imagine the debauchery was bad already, these were debauchery X10. So all of this continued. And
the only animals I like are my cat and dog and my grandma.
Until Slanesh
Of my grandma. I thought you said and my grandma,
all
and I
that
was like,
emotion, all that mental, well, thought processes,
Your grandma?
I suppose.
What?
All of this in such a condensed space. Don't forget, this is all being shot. All their souls as well into the warp. All this depravity right into the warp. So what happened? Boom. Slanesh was birthed and killed off 90% of the entire Eldar population.
Remember this.
Untold trillions had their souls ripped from their bodies and their actual fleshy bodies devoured.
I mean,
by
humans are
Slanesh
animals?
demons. The entirety of the Eldar race was eaten alive.
I was
and
about to say
their
that. I was like, but are they
souls
pets?
to
And
the
I'm
Prince
like,
of Pleasure.
wow.
All of them
It sure liked me.
got fucked up. It was so bad that it literally ripped a warp hole into the fabric of the Materium called the Eye of Terror. That's literally this like quasi-horrifying gateway portal from the Materium and the Immaterium right next to Cadia. And it is horrifying. So this Slanesh, also known as She Who Thirsts by the Eldar,
She Who
slaughtered
Thirsts.
the entire population.
Remember to
Except
hydrate.
for a
Remember to
couple.
hydrate, guys.
Those in the craft worlds were actually not affected
my
by this
God.
as they were
How
so
did
far
you
in
just
the reach of the
instant
galaxy.
kill?
That
That's not
crazy
good.
crack, that birth of Slanesh only affected the ones in the center. So these craft world Eldar were able to escape, but Slanesh got their sights on them. Every time an Eldar will die, their soul doesn't just pass into the warp naturally. It goes straight to Slanesh, craft world or not. What about those people in the Webway? Well, imagine that giant birth happening, but they were only able to just barely get a grasp on it. Slanesh was just barely able to hold on. These people are the Dark Eldar, or also known as the Drukhari. The Eldar population right now is so massively small. It is minuscule compared to any of the other most of the other populations in the universe. The Eldar are consistently having issues trying to get their population up because as their souls are constantly being hungered by from Slanesh, they realize their entire species is doomed. And they understand it very well. Since the time of the fall, our race has been haunted by what we, in our reckless pursuit of hedonistic indulgence,
Push
gave
the start.
birth to.
What?
Though our dreams once overturned worlds and quenched suns, we are now but fitful shadows clinging to the edge of existence. All the stars in the sky cannot blot out the hateful glare of the red moon's eye. The birthing place of the great enemy pulses with all the malice of a demon that is streaming, casting its shadow over all we have ever done and all we ever shall. Every twisted strain of fate and casting of the runes leads me to this time, to this place, and it is clear that the final battle awaits me at the ancient Chrome world. A conflict the likes of which has not been seen since the Monkai warred amongst themselves, and their corpse of the seer fell to his traitorous son. Is coming, and all my steps lead towards it, no matter that I walk other paths.
So
I see the
strange.
stars
Why would you
stained
ever
red
do
with
that,
the blood
huh?
of Monkai, and though their wars do not
Also, you're
concern me,
saying that
I would
coffee
gladly let them
fuels your
destroy one
rage?
another. I know that to avoid this fight is to condemn my race to inevitable doom, and though all I see is darkness, I know that I will not flinch from my destiny. And now let's talk about cute plastic models.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
The first playable race we have for the Eldar are the Craft World Eldar and living in those Craft World starships I mentioned earlier. And each of them have their own kind of Craft World, almost like a Space Marine Legion.
It is
Each
so
Craft World is in itself
motherfucking
its
hot
own
in this room.
special kind of group. And the Eldar
I don't know
themselves
why, I'm
are
like,
very
why is it so
fast
ridiculously
and rely
hot
a
in
lot
this
on
room?
trickery. They are squishy, a bit weak, but they're very in tune as psychers. Tons of psychers across the entire Eldar population, and their weaponry and abilities are fast and extremely hard-hitting, but of course rather fragile. Understanding an Eldar's brain is an exercise in futility. They are all over the place in confusion and trickery on a whole galactic scale. They fight weird, they think weirder, and Eldar in their own rights really rely on this to keep their species alive. They need to think about deception and the strangeness of what they do if they truly want to not be immediately murdered and slaughtered wholesale thanks to their entirely small population. However, I must say that it seems like their population is getting slightly better. These craft worlds hold millions upon millions of people. And as these continually, reproduce and have their craft worlds expand, losing a few people in battle, while hurts a lot, they aren't really losing what's extremely precious to them. It's not like every single death means the death of their species. They're kind of on the upturn a little bit. They're still a doomed race being sucked into Slanesh every time someone dies, but they are definitely doing a little bit better than they were before. Eldar are fast, cunning, and what they don't make up for in tankiness, they make up for in extremely advanced weaponry. They also call humans Monkai, which is something I mentioned earlier. That is a derogatory slur for humans in the Warhammer world. Why is it called Monkai? Well, it's because you can't, in your game, call people monkeys. On the tabletop, exactly what I said. Not very tanky, generally pretty squishy, hit like trucks, and move at Mach 5. Fast, hit hard, die fast. Exactly how it sounds. They've been good for a very long time, too. We bring only death and leave only carry-on. It is a message even a human can understand. Eldar. So, Drukhari. Let's talk about the Dark Eldar.
On today's episode of How Fucked Up Is Fucked Up. That's fucked up.
So those people I mentioned in the webway, in the super deranged cults and the depraved people of the Eldar, in the webway they didn't quite get a hold onto them. So it actually has them, but it has them on by the pinky finger.
in the
And they're
cloak and dagger
slowly
Are
being
you
consumed
shitting
by
me?
Slanesh, but they found out they can stave her off by doing Slanesh. The Dark Eldar are by far the worst, most horrifying, disgusting, depraved, and brutal race in all of Warhammer 40k. These are entirely a group of people whose full purpose to save their species from extinction, to go into planets, raid them, and take as many slaves as they possibly can, to torture them for 1, 5, 10, 20, a million years, because that torture will keep them from dying. They look very BDSM style too. They definitely have a lot more spiky bits, and they have a lot more of that kind of leathery black
Did no one
look
bet
to
for
them.
moves? Do I not lose my points?
Example. Let's say you are an upstanding Imperial
Nobody
citizen
thought this would
living
happen.
life on a regular planet.
Oh, Lord.
You get invaded by the Necrons.
I've never seen that before.
Necrons will shoot you with a deatomizer, and you will be destroyed in a millisecond, and that's it. Not the worst way to go. You are invaded by Chaos Marines or something. You take a bolter shot to the head or a chain sword across your stomach, and you get cut in half.
Torture
Painful,
here.
but not the worst. The orcs arrive. They beat you to death. Hurts, but you know, whatever. Tyranids,
Yeah, where are
they
the
eat you
orcs?
alive. Rough.
The Tyranids.
The Dark Eldar.
Orcs.
The Dark Eldar. This is gonna get a little
This is the
graphic.
good part?
I apologize. You
Oh,
pray you
wait.
die.
Aftershock Festival returns
Bruh.
to Sacramento for its biggest year yet.
Ricky, what was that?
Or a chain sword across your stomach and you get cut in half. Painful, but not the worst. The orcs arrive. They beat you to death. Hurts,
Nice.
but you know, whatever. Tyranids, they eat you alive. It's pretty rough.
Hot.
The Dark Eldar. The Dark Eldar. This is gonna get a little graphic.
Ricky. Whoa.
I apologize. You pray you die. You don't. You are instead taken as a human slave. Your life will be endless work and agony, 24/7. They will make sure
Wait,
you
I still
cannot
lost my
stop
points.
as your pain
Did the
satisfies
points
them.
just not
They
go
will
to anyone?
hook you up to all manner of torture devices. They will inject
Did 5,000
pain-based
points just, like,
stimuli
delete themselves?
drugs directly into your nervous
Oh.
system. They will slowly run razor blades across your skin. They
Oh,
will
Lord.
fillet you and just pull out your teeth and your fingernails one by one. They will remove your appendages and your skin and wait for it to grow back so they can do it again. They will murder and torture
My
and
God.
use the R word that rhymes with grape, your entire family in front of you, and do the exact same thing to them. You yourself will also
Damn,
be
that's not good.
rhymes with grape anywhere and everywhere possible, and this will occur for 20 years until you are no longer satisfying to them. And then you will be contorted, crushed, and twisted into some form of
Oh,
trophy,
Lord.
a fleshy
What's
trophy,
happening?
or a
What is
ring,
this team
or a
called?
couch, or a TV stand,
Oh,
or perhaps
fail.
a wonderful hat. While you are, of
Be a
course,
good
still
little
alive
teammate and I'll
and breathing,
fail.
and you will become a moaning,
Why?
fleshy
What the? Okay.
trophy
Okay.
for eternity.
I guess we're
And
playing
that
with 4
is
DPS.
what happens when you are taken by the Dark Eldar. They are the most depraved, most horrifying race in all of 40K.
Joy.
They look the part, and they do
Joy
it
and
so they
pleasure.
all don't die. They are literally forced to do this, because if they don't, Slaaneash's grip will get harder, and they will have their souls pulled away.
So
long
the
as they keep
losing
doing
stonks are looking
Slaanesh is
good.
like, you're doing good, man. You're doing solid.
people
You
wanna
keep-
bet
you
on
keep
lose,
that shit up, you
then-
elf-ear bastards. That's the Dark
Probably
Eldar.
gonna get
That's
free
Yukari.
5,000 points
They
because we
are
have no
horrible.
tank.
On tabletop, they're actually kind of like Eldar, but
Oh,
more
Lord.
extreme. They are even
Joey.
squishier than the Eldar, but they hit generally even harder. Fast attacks, skirmishers, really quick, speedy, like get around them, do a lot of damage, get away kind of stuff. That's mostly
Joey.
Dark Eldar. Look up the definition of Grim Dark in the dictionary, you'll find a picture of the Dark Eldar. And Seb from Public Commando. A quote from Mr. Vecht. We are the lords of despair, masters of terror. Dread and agony are our meat and wine, and they are plentiful indeed.
Oh,
Dark
no.
Eldar.
Ow.
Talk about the Harlequins. Clowns.
Harlequin.
The Harlequins are a bizarre race of Eldar. They're demonic clown performers. They're like a weird mix of Sander Cohen from BioShock and Jin from League of Legends, but in a more
Guys, what the
clown
fuck is
theme.
happening?
They're
How are we
artists
winning right now?
of death and perfecters of their craft. They do not belong to Craft
Hello?
Worlds or any of the weird Drukhari people. They guard something called the Black Library, which is this
One day
giant
they'll wake
tome
up-
of never-ending knowledge deep in the heart of the Eldar webway, and also guarded by their god named Kegarok, I believe
One
is how you
day, the
pronounce his
weight
name.
of your
He
skin
is the
will
laughing
make your
god. But
knees crumble,
it's the
and I will
Eldar.
not be there to hold
And these are
you.
the Harlequins,
I know.
the Harlequin clowns. These are Eldar clowns.
Dogs are the best.
Okay, so
I like to
imagine the
snuggle.
things that an Eldar, these depraved
Hi, bud.
individuals, would find
Hi.
funny. And this
Hi,
is
bud.
the god of that. It's a horror clown. These are gods of horror for us normal people. For them, they're like, oh, it's so funny. They're all dying horribly. Honk, honk. They're very bizarre and difficult to describe. They've escaped the ruinous powers of Select somehow, but their main thing is guarding that Black Library. And the Harlequins they're demon clown performers. They're barely any models on the tabletop. They're good in melee. They're demon clowns. I'm not sure. I got a quote. It is too easy for an Eldar to embrace the obscene virtues of chaos. For Slaanesh is nothing more than a manifestation of the Eldar mind in its most wild and unconstrained form. Human morality is meaningless to the Eldar. And to the dark side of the Eldar mind, all life is to be expended at a whim. Cruelty and generosity are but the impulse of a moment. Beauty and sensuality are virtues that can be expressed in bloodshed just as easily as in song. To an unfettered Eldar mind, there is neither sanity nor madness, but merely a wave of perfect existence fulfilled by its own savage momentum. They're very strange. The Harlequins, Drukhari, Eldar, they are an anomaly that make humans seem completely easy to understand in comparison. They range from rekindling their civilization to horrifying murder and also clowns. They're all over the place, but honestly, they represent quite well and are rather interesting, especially with the whole Slaanesh murdering everyone bit. So, Eldar. Now, bugs.
Ma, they following me, Ma. They following me. These, the bugs.
The bugs.
The Tyranids. Now, you want to talk something a little more fun, a little more simple than all this crazy Eldar shenanigans? Let's talk the Tyranids. They're bugs. They look like Zerg. Hell yeah, they look like Zerg. You want to know why I look like Zerg? Because they were actually supposed to be what Zerg were. Apparently StarCraft was supposed to be a 40k game in the beginning, hence why they look so much like Eldar, Zerg, and the Imperium of Man. Like, Space Marine-y, those Marines, huh? That was a little bit Space Marine-y to me. Maybe. I don't know. You really fucked up on that one, Games Workshop, didn't ya? Tyranids are a giant infestation of unfathomable proportions. These are giant, extremely bio-advanced hive minds that are basically all about absorbing as much biomass as they possibly can to evolve and mutate to be extremely potent and powerful and kill and eat anything in their path. They are probably the least evil faction in all of 40k because all they want to do is eat. They want to nom nom the entire galaxy. They hangry and we food. Also, this Tyranid hive mind has a presence in the warp. In fact, Tyranids in their own right have a massive presence in the warp. They have a thing called the Shadow in the warp specifically, where when they are coming in to invade a planet, they have this weird ability to kind of cut off the warp on all the cycles on that planet. And how do you get help across the stars? Well, you need the warp, because you need that for interstellar travel. So, with people unable to call for help,
yeah, Kramer, do you have a favorite bug?
These are easy pickings. And an entire giant Tyranid hive fleet comes out of orbit and just will massacre, absorbing all that biomass and turning them and all of their other Tyranids into even more advanced monsters. They come in so many varieties too, all is based on what is important. Tiny little ripper swarms for scouting and having little dudes eat people up, to the Hormagons, Termagons, and Gene Stealers, all the way to the Hive Guard and the Exocrines and the Swarm Lords, to Hive Tyrants and their giant battle fleet, and even something as crazy as the Hierophant Bio-Titans. The Tyranids come in all forms and sizes depending on what they require. They are extremely good at anti-biological weaponry. There is no way you can plague them or blight them. They have extremely strong armor, carapaces and such. Tyranids are nigh perfect orphans and are pretty spooky when it comes down to how they handle all of their genetic material. Keep feeding them, they'll keep evolving. They keep on creating new horrifying organisms to spread across the galaxy. And you know what the most terrifying part of the Tyranids is?
Because they're super strong enough with big horn. When I was little, torpedoes.
7 Tyranid hive fleets. Behemoth, Kronos, all these different kinds of hive fleets, and they've all arrived in the galaxy from different points. Different sections of the Milky Way galaxy have had different Tyranids come through. And that is horrifying, because as far as we know, we could just be surrounded on all sides by Tyranids. The only reason you may not hear a whole lot about Tyranids is because it's a little bit hard to have a bunch bunch of story off of one hive mind genocidal monsters. All these giant bugs swarming in, killing and eating everybody and evolving. Well, I mean, as cool as there are some cool characters, the Swarm Lord, Old One-Eye, you can't really have a whole bunch of major character-based stories around them.
Better
As
than
awesome
punching
as
them?
they are, they're
Bro.
simple. They want to eat.
You're not wrong.
They want
You're
to
not
eat
wrong.
you and absorb
But
your
the poor
biomass. They are
beetle.
simple bugs. If you want
Why
something a
would you
little more
do that to the
complex,
beetle?
talk Gene Stealer cults.
I can have all
Beetles
the
don't
pot I
serve
want,
that, they
I
make
get
great
around
music.
faster than walking, and wherever I need a seat, I can just sit on my balls.
Gene Stealer cults are a special brand of Tyranid that can slowly infect themselves into different kinds of society. And by infecting them, they can rise up to where they all pray and believe in these regular humans, pray and believe into their Tyranid hive mind gods. And these brood lords and I think they're called patriarchs all can turn an
My
entire
savior. My
world
savior.
all based into
My
Gene
big and lightning
and
daddy.
these are called Gene Stealer cults. An entire hive world of the Imperium can be turned into nothing but servants to the Tyranid masters just by
Beatles should
infecting
not born
them
the
and
Beatles,
screwing with
kill
their
us.
genetic code a little bit.
Oh
They also
no.
have this cool like Mad
Oh,
Max
no.
look, which is really neat. They are definitely one of the bigger threats to the Imperium besides Chaos. I keep saying biggest threat to the Imperium. They're up there though because you, dingus, stepped on a bug in middle school. Asshole. There is a cancer eating at the Imperium. With each decade, it advances deeper, leaving drained, dead worlds in its wake. This
Oh, we're
horror,
chilling.
this abomination, has thought and purpose that functions on an unimaginable galactic scale. And all we can do is try to stop the swarms of bioengineered monsters it unleashes upon us by instinct. We have given the horror a name to salvage our fears. We call it the Tyranid race. But if it is aware of us, it must know us as nothing but prey. Tyranids. They're cool. But are they as cool as the orcs?
The orcs. Oh my god, I love the orcs.
Orcs. Fucking love orcs.
Love
So,
them.
yes, the green monsters,
I'm
the
not
green
even going to
eyes,
versus
the
skin
green
with this
skins.
pink.
These orcs, they are in fact a race in 40K.
saying I'm doing a good
The
job?
orcs are as exactly what you expect them. They have archaic weapons, they're big boys, they have axes,
Oh, you're talking about
and they
a
have big
beetle
old
fighting
teeth, and they
mantis?
want to kill everything, and there are
Never mind.
so many of them.
So many.
The only reason they haven't taken over the entire galaxy is they can't stop murdering each other. Orcs are so
Nerd.
cool. Orcs don't have philosophy. Orcs don't have existential crisis. What matters is who's the biggest orc. You listen to that guy, because
True.
he the biggest orc. He big orc. Big orc knows best. You win through the power of imagination. Of all the races I have battled throughout the galaxy, the orc is the hardest to comprehend. They wage war with machines that should not work, care little for strategic gains, and are just as likely to slaughter each other as the enemy. How does one battle an enemy that defies all logic? As an orc, you're enjoying life. You're enjoying the life you're given. Your whole life and job
Sorry for the
purpose
insult,
is
but
to get
coffee's
up
taking
and
effect.
beat
Why
each
are you
other to
drinking
death
coffee?
as you can. The biggest
Are you
orc
talking
is
to go
the
to
man
bed?
who understands
Do you need to go to
everything.
bed?
He is the
What are you
boss.
doing?
And orcs have
Why are you
this really
drinking
weird,
coffee?
like, big, dumb, stereotype British
tea, like me.
accent, which is just hilarious to me. Those are orcs. You fight. You like to fight. Your whole purpose is to fight. You wage war because you want to wage war. You got your boss over there, and you better listen to the boss, because if you don't listen to the boss will squish you and make you an example for the other orcs. And then you can't fight because orc dead. And orc dead can't fight because orc dead. Orcs, they scrap together machines out of parts that don't make any sense, and because they believe, they have the mental imagination that that machine will run, it'll run. If that machine's out of gas, you're driving that machine with your fellow orcs, and the biggest orc is behind the wheel, and you run out of gas, some orc behind you is like, oh, Zog, we're out of gas. And the big orc is like, no, we're not. I filled the fucking gas tank up earlier. And all the other orcs are like, oh yeah, you did do that. And then you turn the fucking mech back on, and it works again. Does it have gas? Probably
I am the
not.
DPS.
But it works. The power of imagination.
I'm
They
not
paint
in
things red
power
because
of
it makes them think
the
it goes faster.
Power
They
of the
paint things
blast.
purple because it's the sneakiest color. You want to know
So
why?
sneaky.
You ever seen a purple orc?
Oh.
Didn't fucking think so.
Never.
Orcs are
You've
also
never
like,
seen it?
ancient as hell. They're back in the Eldari time frame. But back then they were called Krorks, and they were much larger and scarier and far
Oh.
more intelligent. Now they're just orc, and they're big,
Orc.
dumb, and they smack things, but they're pretty spooky. They're not very well armored, but they hit really hard, and it's called the Green Tide because there are so many orcs. There are about as many orcs as there are Tyranids. Maybe more, who knows? But they keep on, murdering each other, so it's not too bad of an issue. Orcs are entirely comic relief. Their stuff is slapped together. That makes no sense. Their vehicles don't work the way they're supposed to, but they work because they think it works, because they imagine that it works. Orcs care only about who is the biggest orc, and they will follow the biggest orc. And then if they want to be the biggest orc, they'll challenge the biggest orc. And then when they go and they issue a WA is war in orc, they murder everybody and everything in this giant tide of green orcs who are just excited to be hitting something. They don't care that they're hitting Eldar or the Imperium or Tau or anyone. They're just so they get to beat shit up. That's orcs. And on the tabletop, they are a total coin flip, and they're really fun. I have never met a salty orc player. I have never met someone who plays orcs and is ever just a bad guy or that guy. Orc players have this kind of fun to them because when you play them, you are completely submitting yourself to RA. So here's the thing. Guards, Imperial Guards, when they shoot, they roll a dice on a 4 up when people target. It's a defense chance. Space Marines, pretty good. They hit on a 3 or higher because they're well trained. Adeptus Custodians, they hit on 2s because they're super well trained. Orcs, they hit on a 5 or higher. But if they roll a 6, they get to make another shot with anything. From the dinkiest pistol to the biggest rocket launcher. It doesn't matter. Half of their stuff will blow up on a whim.
Why do I have the second most amount of kills as Cloak and Dagger? What the
you
fuck?
fuck up your surgery and you just kill an orc. They're so wacky and silly. But the thing is if you roll well, you roll high, and you keep rolling high, you are going to crush people. And if you don't, you lose. I mean, that's what you get when you play orcs. That's what happens when you play orcs. It's a coin flip. Which is why you can't be a salty bitch when you play orcs, because things won't go your way. It's just the roll of the dice. You're playing a dice game. But if you're going to have fun, and you want to be stupid, and you want to be silly, you're going to play some damn orcs. But on the opposite side of the fun part of this, let's talk about the Necrons.
Necrons. Fun fact, orcs do not gender, they are fungus.
The Necrons are spooky, scary skeletons and very grim dead. They have a much more fleshed out lore than before. Back in the day, they were just undead and gifted space terminators, and they still look that way, but then they actually have a story. So way back in the day, you had the Necron tiers. You kind of see a theme here: Eldari, Eldar, Kork, Orc, Necron tiers. So Necron tier were this race of generally kind of shitty people. Not because they were personally shitty, because their lives were awful. They were ill-fated to a horrible existence of like radiation and a terrible planet they lived on, and everything just really sucked. Being a Necron tier was just really depressing. They really were looking for immortality.
It's not a 0.
They were extremely reliant on the hope that they would eventually find the key to living forever and just stave off this horrible nature that they were thrust upon them, and therefore they could become the most dominant race in the galaxy. And they found this group. They're called the Old Ones. Imagine them kind of like the Forerunners in Halo or the Zelnaga in StarCraft, right? These old ones were
if I like open up my other browser,
beings, and they of course were the key to immortality. So the Necrons went to them and said, "Please, show us your ways."
No, the video became erotic
and the Old Ones
again.
said, "Piss off."
I wish I had the sexy sax music.
They did not want to share their secret of immortality with the Necrons. The Necrons, of course, took this very well and waged war with them, kind of under this united banner. The Necron different dynasties didn't really like each other, but under this one man, the Silent King, he thought the best way to unite his race was to do this giant war with the Old Ones out of spite for them keeping the secret of immortality to them. This was known as the
Boom.
War
All
in
in.
Heaven. And
Therefore,
this is actually like a multi-stage
if I
war.
lose,
Because
stream
during
ends.
this War in Heaven, they discovered
If I win,
the
we keep
Star
going. We
Gods,
keep going
a
till I
whole new
lose.
race of people known as the Catan,
Sound good?
or the Catan. These
Sounds
Star
good.
Gods were also very much like old ones,
Wonderful.
almost omnipotent beings, and they too
Yeah.
had the key to immortality. And so the Necrons went to
yeah,
them and
did
said,
I
"Hey,
tell y'all?
can you help
So,
us
I have
fight
another-
off the old ones? Can you help us kill
God, I
these
know,
old
I always
ones?"
pray
You, the
to
Catan, and
you
the Catan
to
said
kill random
yes.
people. Please,
In
me to
fact,
lose. I'll see
we
you
can
to
help
lose the
provide
max.
you with the immortality
want
you
to
so
stream
desperately
that?
seek. So the Silent King of the Necrons decided to make a pact with the Catan
The
to allow them
self-gamba,
to
I always
accept
bet that I'll
this
win.
generous
I always
gift
bet that
of
I'll win.
immortality upon them. But this, of course, had been a horrendous
No.
trap, and the Necrons were dragged in chains
No, yeah,
to this
did I tell you?
biotransference
So I have
where
a
their
game time
flesh
next
was
week.
stripped from them, replaced with nothing but a metal hollow shell
Which
as
basically
their
means,
souls
like,
were
Thursday,
ripped from
Friday,
their
Saturday,
bodies
and Sunday
fed
night.
to the Catan. And the Catan
I have
fastened up.
1 a.m.
They
to
got
9 a.m.
shot
shifts.
on the souls of the Necrons.
So
as
yeah,
this was their
that'll be
plan
fun.
all along,
That'll
they
be so fun.
consumed the flesh and
Next week is
souls
gonna
of the
be
Necrons
so much
here
fun.
and turned them all into unwilling robotic slaves.
Let's just get all of our
just to
gaming out of the
serve
way
their
before
will.
then.
And then, with their newfounded
Okay, my
Necron army,
robots.
they pointed their
then-
guns at the old ones, and the Catan
baby.
continued their
fine,
domination
it's all
of the
good.
stars and their genocide.
Only time I ever win is when I'm
complete and
fucking carrying the
full
match.
Genocide of these old ones. The old ones did their best to stave it off. They even created other races, the Eldari and the Orcs, to try to fight off the
basically,
horrifying Necron army
we're
and the
hanging in
Catan
there.
above them.
We're hanging in
But there
there.
was absolutely no possible chance for them. And the old ones were absolutely
At least you'll fall asleep
extinguished
fast,
across
hopefully.
the galaxy. Their
Hopefully.
entire race completely
I hope so.
removed. Full on 100%
not guarantee.
genocide. However,
But maybe-
during all this, the Catan, so
No, yeah, and so-
infatuated with their victory,
Yeah, no,
started
I'm basically-
fighting each
I'm
other
gonna
for
try
fun,
to
for
stream as
sport,
much as I
and
can
for small
before that,
differences,
like,
doesn't matter.
fucked up
The
4-day
Catan, with these
period.
overpowered people, they're going to eventually hit each other at some point. And as
I'm
they began
debating, I'm
just
like,
menially
do I try
fighting
and go
each other,
all in
the
and, like,
Eldari and the
really
Orcs actually
make a big
started
dent
pushing
in,
on
like,
the
Red
Catan's
Zero
borders a
Dawn?
little bit, giving them a
Do
little bit of a
I
run
start
for their
playing
money.
date
And as this
everything? 'Cause I
continued,
have
this is
and
when the
I've been thinking
Silent
about it.
King, who retained his consciousness, decided to leap into action and start a full-scale
Guys, I think it's
revolt
time.
against their Catan masters.
I
And
think
this
it's
revolt
time.
was bloody, as the entire Necron army
But,
was surged off to destroy these star gods.
Yeah, no.
They were able to, just after
don't know.
suffering
I don't know what I'm gonna
horrendous
do.
losses, were able to turn the tide
This
of
is
the
a
war.
comp.
And they took these Catan and they blasted them. Because as these star gods are unkillable, they were able to break them into thousands of shards and entrap them in giant stasis
remember
vaults
this.
to
I
now
remember the
actually
lore,
be
the Necron
slaves
lore.
to the Necrons. And with the Necrons having the entirety of their old gods enslaved to them, they realized that soon their race was about to be attacked by the overcoming new races, the Eldari and the Orcs. And so what they did
We'll
is
see.
they retreated into
I
giant
also- I wanna
stasis
play
tombs
Warframe more
in order
with
to
Grim.
preserve their energy and their
Because
strength.
always,
for when
I'll
one
take
day
an
they would
excuse
be
to hang out with Grim.
reawakened and they would be able to
Don't
rule
put
the
yourself in
galaxy
stream in
that
Europe.
was rightfully
You ready?
theirs.
Of
And then
course.
some dingus
No,
and
I'm not.
Mechanicus guy
Chill
diddled
and
with
conquer.
a
You don't have to
green
worry about me.
console, and now the Necrons are back, and they see all these primitive races on their lawns, and they think,
One day,
"Get
my dream
the
of us and
fuck
Jelly
off
Soul
of
collab
us."
on
The
Warframe
Necrons
become
are
real.
back,
I'm
super
super down to
advanced,
do that.
and they are
Like,
here to reclaim the galaxy that they so rightfully believe
Got
is
'em.
theirs. Now, at tabletop, they're a lot like that. Tons of
Oh.
undead Egyptian skeleton robots.
Got 'em.
When they die, they just get right back up because they keep on reanimating. Hard to kill, tons of crazy stuff. You can use the Catan themselves as units to fight with. Pretty cool. The Necrons are one of the three major events in 40k. The Horus Heresy, the Fall of the Eldar, and the Awakening of the Necrons are all pretty substantial events. And the Necrons themselves are pretty dang cool as well. Here's a good quote from wonderful Dawn of Wargame. "Lucky creatures, as long last you have found the tranquility of death. I was like you once, clinging to life and blind to the truth. When I uncovered the truth, I too
was
shuddered
he
and
talking
paled
about?
with fear. Deep in these catacombs, I
Again,
was
I'm
remade. Here, my
super down.
brethren slumbered for
I've been meaning
eons
to
while the
do
living
more
grew like
collabs.
weed. My
and just
Lord
like
to this day would come.
be
He
more
had plans
social
for us
in
all.
general.
We would purge
But I've been
this
so
world once
fucking
more.
busy
So
recently
come,
with like
poor
traveling
victims
around.
of life. We will grant you tranquility in these crypts. Kronos will be a tomb world
I'm
once
super
more.
down.
Necrons are also pretty
I
smart.
feel like right
Praising
now,
the Infinite
I don't
especially
have
is a
any
little
specific
dickhead. But
reason
speaking
to
of
play
dickheads,
Warframe.
last race. Let's talk the Tau. The exact formation of the Tau Empire is not entirely understood. However, a long time ago, many thousand years ago, in the 40k world that is, some Imperial navigation vessels were going around to different areas, and they saw a primitive race, blue people smacking each other with sticks.
I feel like Warframe is super chill for just like,
dumb
just log on, log on with friends,
then this
hang
giant
out,
warp storm occurred
chill, play
right
with
in
them.
that major
So I'm
area,
down.
unable to be
I'd love to do
breached.
that.
Then, once that warp storm 6,000 years later subsided, hello, those little sticks. Well, they decided to actually have no war of any kind and all just unite together under one flag of the Tau Empire. And now they have gigantic starships and Gundam robots and lasers and railguns and mechs, and they are here to ruin your day for the greater good. That is generally the Tau Empire. They have this kind of feeling of this homogenous group. All species can go underneath the banner of the greater good. The greater good is their idea of the fundamental increase and help of all. In fact, they are most likely the most like the Covenant in Halo, where they have the overarching prophets, being the Ethereals, who are actually kind of dicks and like to pull at strings a little bit, but then you have all these different races directly underneath them, and they all work together in this big group as this large, foreboding race that tries to spread their weirdly pseudo-religious influence across the galaxy. The alien is not intrinsically evil. Do not hate him. Pity him, his ignorance. Seek to understand his differences and equate him with his inadequacies.
This is so
Only then will he accept his place in the greater good. That is generally the Tau. And if you're kind of wondering like what their mainly big shtick is, well, they're all about big robots and mechs. They have laser rifles and railguns. They got giant mechs with tons of missile pods and heavy rail rifles and rail guns. And burst cannons and ion accelerators and void shields and all this stuff. And that is generally what the Tau's all about. But you're probably thinking, Bricky, this doesn't sound that evil. This doesn't sound very grimdark Warhammer.
I'm really trying.
And you'd be right. The Tau Empire really don't have that much of a horrifying, grimdark style like everybody else. They're much more younger, new age thing. In fact, they're probably a lot less evil and a lot even better than they are now back in the day because they liked having like a good guy faction. But a lot of us who really like the dark, depressing style of Warhammer,
to playing Baldur's Gate 3.
So, see, the Tau get a lot of hate, and a lot of that hate isn't necessarily unjustified.
Like, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a really cool game.
See from all the visuals I've shown you recently, they don't really fit in the 40k universe very well. They lack that super dark,
I just really don't understand why it's so hot in this room. I really don't get it.
They don't have the weird kind of like
multiplayer can get silly.
Stuff that Chaos and Orcs do.
Love that.
And the Necrons and the Eldar have their own specific style as well. The Tau really do look like something out of Gundam. And while it isn't necessarily a bad thing, it does definitely not fit too well. There's that. There's also the tabletop problem. In tabletop, Tau are horrible at melee combat, but exceptionally good at range combat. So they blast everyone from really, really far away, and they have a million rules to make it so that it's nearly impossible for you to get into melee combat. So it basically just forces you to bottleneck the game into one specific gameplay style, which is gun to gun. And if you're doing gun to gun, they're going to win every time because they're the Tau, and the Tau are really damn good at shooting. So it's one of those things that make the Tau generally rather hated, and a lot of different reasons for that, both from style and such. But this is actually one of the things I wanted to end this video with, is that the Tau, while they have their issues,
I hate that I can't keep this a secret. I canceled all my food delivery subscriptions and upgraded to Cook Unity. It's totally transformed the way I eat because every meal is crafted by award-winning chefs from across the country. The variety is unlike anything I've ever seen, with over 100 menu options to choose from every week, so I can always find the exact global cuisines I'm craving, whether it's Thai, Japanese, or Italian. So I can have Chef Christy Flores' signature grilled spicy salmon bowl for lunch, and Chef Mark Forgiani's incredible rigatoni with mushroom bolognese for dinner, and all at 50% off if you click now. To meet my health goals, I've been using the app to easily filter through dietary options like vegan, keto, and even high protein. So I get the nutrition I need without ever stepping into a grocery store. And on my busiest days, they offer convenience I can count on. Meals are freshly prepped, delivered right to my door, and ready to heat and eat in minutes. And the best part, it fits my budget. Right now, Cook Unity is offering 50% off your first week. If you do the math, meals start at just $5.55 with select plans. Get this deal today because it won't last long.
I want to skip the ad, but I locked it. Oh no. Where are they? Where are they at? Where? Oh?
You should not be discouraged from playing them. I'll make plenty of Tao weeaboo jokes, of course I will, but it's all generally in good fun. Anyone who legitimately doesn't want you to play a faction is an idiot, and you shouldn't be giving them the time of day. You pick what you think is cool and
I feel
what
like
you
I
like.
would love
In
to
Warhammer,
play
especially now,
Baldur's Gate
factions
3,
get better and they get worse.
but I
they
also
grow,
have
and then
so
they
many
fall.
other games
You
that I'm
should
playing
only
right
be
now that
playing
I'm
what you
like,
think is cool.
oh
You
no.
like the look,
So I
you
would
like the
definitely, I
remodels.
need other
If you're
people to
talking
play with
tabletop,
in order
that
to
is what you
like,
should be going for every time,
go
is
for
what you
it.
think is badass, because things change all the time. But the universe of Warhammer has so much going for it. Every faction has something interesting, every character has a story, and there's a million stories to be told. The universe is vast and exciting, and while it is dark, depressing, and horrible, that is the damn charm. And out of everything I've told you in these two videos, anything you can take away is the reason why so many of us are so into this series and why we like it so much.
Again, I feel like for
so much variety, such an
women,
expansive universe, and so
that
much
is a
that can be
very
done.
enticing argument.
You can find yourself having a pretty great time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it's been informative to you. If you'd like to see more of me, Bricky, you have twitch.tv/Bricky for my streams. You have my merchandise site, in which I was wearing all of my merch, but underneath this, because I had to wear this so it wasn't black or white for the green screen, which is a little unfortunate, but it's fine. If you'd like to see merch, it is in the description. Also, if you'd like to support me on my Patreon page at patreon.com/Bricky for more videos like this, then that would also be wonderful. So Twitch, merch, Patreon, anything if you want to support, that would be fantastic. I'd appreciate it. If not, I'm stoked you got all the way to the end of the video, and that is enough for me. So we're going to be having some more content like this out in the future. Thank you so much for sticking around this long and being with me through this pretty rough time. That's, I think, all I got. Also, before I go, let me leave you with my favorite Warhammer quote. He who scoffs at the power of the lad's gun has never ran through a field of 1,000 of them. Bye-bye.
Oh no. Oh, that's not good. Oh no. Hold on. Oh, I'm going terribly. Darn. Hold on. Hold. Let me do. Bum. Oh, I tried. Go over here. Oh. There goes the rest of the channel points. Oh well. Oh. Wait, you gifted something to Conquer? What'd you do? Boom. Alright, so let me catch up on the other messages. So yeah, no, again, I've been kind of itching to do more collabs, but I feel like right now I've only like I've only collabed with Grim before, and so I feel like it's very easy to do collabs with Grim kind of whenever. But I feel like if I were to do collabs with other people, like Jelly or Winry or like Gyrus or Beebs, those are the people that I'm most interested in collabing with in the near future. I feel like I'd have to do more. Didn't you get the points? It should have gone to you, didn't it? Yeah, it did. I think Hachi stole my points. Yeah, that's how it works. It's like a proportional betting. I think Hachi just betted 100 and you only bet 10. And so Hachi got like 90% of the points. Swoop. Also, hi Hachi. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. No, yeah. I'm super down. Like, this is bullshit. Should have bet more. Should have bet more, hell. Should have been more confident. Jelly would be great. Opposite ends of the horny spectrum. I feel like I would match whatever's Jelly's energy is. Like, ayo. But no, yeah. Hold on. Let me get back to the hot character screen. There we go. No, yeah. Again, I feel like I'd match whatever Jelly's energy is, and I feel like we'd have a good time. We'd have probably just a chill, kind of relaxed kind of stream. But yeah, no, I feel like there's a lot of games that I'd be open to playing, but I like only really want to do them like multiplayer. So I feel like aww. Oh, Conquer, thank you.
Conquer 420 gifted a tier 1 subscription to Random Hachi.
Aw, Conquer, thank you so much. Thank you for gifting us some to Hachi. I appreciate it. No, yeah. So, yeah, no, that's so sweet. Anyways, I feel like I would love to do more collabs. There's some games, like I feel like Baldur's Gate 3, like Peak, and just a bunch of other games that I'd love to play sometime, but I need to do it for collabs. I feel like Warframe is in a very similar spot, because I don't have any objectives to do in Warframe in my eyes, but I'd be very down to just hang out and play Warframe with people, do some relic grinding, help them do missions. I'm very down for that. Yeah, no, but yeah. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I'm down for it. If it just, I feel like kind of with the exception of Grim, I would definitely have to put more effort into outreach for that. And God, I just haven't had the energy. I have not had the energy for that. But I'll work on it. I'll try and get around to it. Yeah, Hachi, I hope you're doing well. Unfortunately, I live in your walls. What are you doing in there? Get out of my walls and into my bed. What the fuck? Why are you in the walls? I live in my basement? I have a basement? Since when have I had a basement? Huh? 2 days until TennoCon? Oh. Is there something I should look out for TennoCon? Because I feel like, oh. You enjoying that? That you like? I don't mind. I don't mind if it's just a little. No, yeah. I feel like I bought the TennoCon thing like a couple of years ago, and I like swooped up a bunch of stuff. Bruh. Did I see the last two teasers? I saw. Hold on. Hold. I saw. What did I see for that one? I saw a couple things. I saw. Oh. Where is Play Warframe? There we go. Oh. So I saw. Oh, I saw Our History of Smoke. Hold on. Hold. Boom. I saw this one. Cast and cry, raise a million pie on time. All our kin were born to fly for that far shore forlorn. Onward high, oh, but we may tame the sky. I should not be singing, but yeah, no, I saw this one. I saw this one, and I was like, ooh, I'm intrigued. But there's a new one. I haven't seen this one. 719. Oh. The haughty ones defy. Gold shall never break our tie to that far shore forlorn. Onward high, oh, but we may tame the sky. Oh, but we shall destined die on that far shore forlorn. And this we have done, swear now to defend the holy treaty. Huh. Yeah, well, now I've seen both of those. My boy Volt, no! No, yeah, and so I'm intrigued to see what they do. You never know. I need answers. So fair. I'm intrigued by what's going on. Ember? Oh! Wait, did Elliot gift you Ember? Oh, you're too sweet. See, Elliot has a secret little soft side. You know? He just doesn't know how to show it, you know? I'm intrigued. I'll keep an eye out. For what's going on with Warframe. I always love playing Warframe. I feel like right now I don't have anything to do. So like, also don't forget to tune in for free stuff the day of TennoCon. Oh, good point. That's a good point. I do love me some free stuff. But no, yeah, I have some tentative plans to potentially play Warframe with Grim soon-ish. We have not put anything on the calendar. Yeah, no. Again, I love Warframe. Warframe's awesome. It's one of those games where, like, I'll get obsessed with it for a few months, and then I'll stop playing for a few months, and then I'll get re-obsessed with it for a few months, and then but yeah. Hachi Cerberus? Yeah, I think so. She's a gamer. Oh, she's a fucking gamer. They got like the mastery level 4 shit, like crazy, crazy. Did I miss anything else? But yeah, no. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. I am gonna find someone to raid. Let's see who's on. Oh, guys, we're gonna raid into someone super cool, a super cool artist named Cassafras. I got to meet Cassafras at Offkai. Yeah, no, unfortunately, I want to raid into Cassafras Hill. But we're gonna raid into Cassafras. I met them in Offkai, and they're so cool, they're so nice. So we're gonna raid over there. And so, again, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Bold of you to think I have a brain. True. But you know, Grim doesn't need to be brainwashed. Grim just needs some very light praising. And I'll do whatever you want. No, yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out. Sorry if my brain was like super fried. But I had a good time just hanging out, just gaming, just listening to some lore. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.